Couple points before continuing with this evening's agenda. Ms. Castro will act as the Zoom meeting host, while commissioners will be able to make comments throughout the meeting. I ask that you please identify yourself and wait to be recognized by the chair before speaking. With this evening's agenda, Ms. Castro will act as the Zoom meeting host.
Okay, sorry, YouTube.
Okay. I ask that you please identify yourself and wait to be recognized before speaking to make sure we are not all speaking over each other. Make sure our recording secretary is clear as to who is speaking. Our first agenda item is the continuation of the discussion for an application for certificate of zoning compliance for a commercial business, Roaring Boar, 509 to 517 Howe Avenue. This particular application was discussed and tabled at our January 8th, 2025 meeting. As requested when we were discussing this application last week, Ms. Castro did some research and several documents were uploaded to the city's website. Ms. Castro, do you want to give us some information about what you were able to find?
Yeah, so I went through the most familiar PDDs that have restaurants that I am aware have live entertainment, and I didn't find anything specific within the statement of uses for each that stated anything in the regular or the accessory use. I saw some COCs regarding the outdoor patios, and some were either restricted or not requested or limited. But in PDD statement of uses specifically, I was not able to find that.
Okay, so if entertainment was going to be held on the premises, this was something that shows in several places that an application for a certificate of zoning compliance would need to be filed. And the conditions were noted by previous staff members who were staff members at the time in 2019, 2020, different locations in town. And as to the where the entertainment would be and how it was going to be supervised. So does anybody have any questions for Ms. Castro?
So maybe it was just if they were doing an outdoor patio that we would ask if they were, because I do remember Bull and Barley. I mean, I do remember quite a few locations, Spotted Horse, that we asked. So maybe my recollection wasn't 100% complete that although most of those are in PDDs, but it must have been outside patios, which makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's there are ones here for sure. We'll talk about that. So it seems that it is a function then of the application certificate of zoning compliance with staff following up if there's any complaints.
Yeah, and if they're going to have a liquor license, they've got to put that on the liquor license that they're going to have entertainment and what type it is. So
right, it's a specific question that they have to answer yes or no and give details. So, okay, is the applicant here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you please identify yourself for the record, and do you have any additional information you'd like to share?
Sure. My name is Matthew Calandro. I don't have any additional information, but I do want to just clarify that this is going to be a restaurant with entertainment. This is not going to be an entertainment hall. And really, the fire marshal will dictate the occupancy. In doing my due diligence, it's a formula based on seated room and standing room. And quite frankly, the bigger the occupancy is not necessarily a good thing for restaurant owners. It has a factor on your licensing as it relates to the various music. It has a factor on your liquor permit, and it has a factor on your insurance. So if I could have it my way, I would say 150 is a comfortable amount, but I know definitively by formula, something else is going to come out a lot higher. But, you know, to anybody who has concern that this is, you know, a music venue that just happened to sell food, that's not the case. And I think it's evident by the fact that we're opening for breakfast.
Mhm.
This is a breakfast, lunch, and dinner operation, Thursday through Sunday. For now, we're shooting for 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We probably won't stay open till 12. We'll probably close around 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
This is fluid based on the business that we're doing and what, the voice of the customer dictates.
What days of the week you're thinking, projecting that you close at 9?
So I think Sunday is a really soft night for us. So we'll probably, instead of going to 12 a.m. on a Sunday, we'll probably close around 9 instead of 12. I think I put 12 on the application, but the
Mhm.
chances of that happening probably aren't warranted. It's
Okay.
everyone's kind of in bed now by it seems like 10 o'clock. So
Mhm.
that's part of the deal here is we're trying to kind of reinvigorate the downtown area, get foot traffic back down here. And
Mhm. Okay. Is that it, Mr. Calandra?
yes, ma'am.
Does any commissioner have any comments or questions for the applicant? Okay, hearing none, how does the commission wish to act on this application?
Do we need to do we need to vote to move and vote on it? Or
Yeah,
is it,
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
motion to approve or deny.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve from Commissioner Motto. Is there a second?
Commissioner Tippett will second.
Is that
Right.
Commissioner Ticky?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Ticky has seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Let the record show the vote was 6-0 with no commissioners voting nay and no commissioners abstaining. Thank you, Mr. Calandro. Good night. Good luck.
I appreciate it. Get ready for barbecue.
I'm ready now.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next on the agenda are public hearings, and I would like to share the protocol we will be following. Staff will indicate if any written comments were received from members of the public no later than 24 hours before the start of this evening's meeting. If written comments were received, they will be read into the record. The applicant and or its associates will make their presentation. The commission can ask questions during the presentation or at its conclusion. The applicant and or associates can answer commission questions at the time they are presented or at the conclusion of the presentation. At the point in each public hearing where the chair asks for public comment, we will begin with elected officials of the city who are participating via Zoom, followed by or a phone link. After elected officials conclude their comments, members of the public will be recognized. Those that are participating via Zoom or a phone link. Those participating via Zoom, whether or not you're a public official or just a member of the public, will need to use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 to be recognized. After you're recognized, please state and spell your name and state your address to assist the recording secretary and the stenographer when preparing the minutes and transcript of the public hearing. Each speaker has 5 minutes to present comments, which should address specific criteria of the zoning regulations, the merits of the application, and be new information, not a repeat of comments presented by a previous speaker. Comments and questions should be directed to the commission, not to the applicant and or his associates. Members of the public are expected to practice appropriate etiquette by being quiet, observant, and respectful. Disruptive attendees may be removed from verbally participating. The applicant's attorney and or associates will be given the opportunity to address any comments or questions from the public after the last person from the public has been given the opportunity to speak. If the commission feels further information is needed from the applicant, I will ask for a motion to continue the public hearing. And if a public hearing remains open, the commission is not permitted to make any public comment, discuss any part of the applicant and or his associate's presentation, or receive any additional information from anyone. If the commission feels the applicant and or associates have answered all questions and have addressed all concerns from the commission and or public, the public hearing will close. The commission reserves the right to discuss the application at the close of the public hearing or to schedule a discussion at an upcoming commission meeting at either time. the commission will be asked by the chair on how it wants to proceed. So the next item is application 2429, Robert Brulette. It's 322 Quorum Avenue, Robert Brulette for Double J Associates LLC for a site plan application under Schedule A, use line 24 in a CB2 zone to increase the height of the building by adding 2 additional floors. The public hearing for this application opened December 11th, 2024. Posted to the city's website since the opening of the public hearing are copies of emails and proposals to the owners of the 2 abutting properties and 8 photos. Ms. Castro, were any other reports, materials, or correspondence received within the time period for the application, but not yet posted to the city's website that need to be acknowledged for the record?
No.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Okay, please identify yourself for the record and what would you like to share with us this evening?
I'm Joe Joyce. I live at 185 Canal Street. So the last meeting that involved this topic resulted in this committee acknowledging my willingness to work flexibly with my neighbors on both sides to reach common ground and or find mutually beneficial terms. Per the mandate from this committee, I proceeded to send letters to both neighbors per the addresses provided on the original certified mailing list. On each of these letters, I laid out specific accommodations that we had considered respective to either property adjacent us. For the adjoining property to our left, owned by the Walker family, I sent a letter that I provided this committee. Alexandra would be able to pull that up. So as it's coming up, I'll just continue. In that letter, I addressed 3 separate concerns that were raised by the property owners in the last meeting, including installing a skylight for their second floor bathroom, repairing the Quorum Ave facing exterior of their building, and adding soundproofing to the proposed second floor of Double J's, all at our expense. I also offered a general sit down to negotiate any terms not proposed in my letter at their convenience. This letter was sent by priority mail with delivery confirmation and was also sent electronically via email, and I never received a response. For the 6-family property to our right, owned by the Perry family, I sent a letter that I also provided this committee, similarly formatted. I addressed the staircase that adjoins our 2 properties that is owned by the Perrys. I offered to install a metal roof to cover that staircase with nighttime lights at my expense. I also offered that same general sit down to negotiate any terms not in the letter at their convenience. Again, sent by priority mail, also sent via email, and I also gave a physical copy to one of the property owners to give to his sister Marcy, who was on the call last week. I never received a response. With these letters and propositions laid out, I believe I fulfilled my obligation to this committee. I attempted to contact both neighbors who had spoke last meeting concerning our expansion plan, and I offered fully funded solutions for both properties, prepared to negotiate in good faith as a neighbor, and this courtesy was not reciprocated. So I'd like to address some individual concerns raised by the property owners last meeting. With respect to the Walker residence on the left side of the building, if you're looking directly at it from Quorum Avenue, one of the concerns risen was the loss of an aesthetic view from the window that opens onto the current roof of Double J's. I did also provide a picture of that window to the committee.
Is that,
This is the one from, is this the last one you
I'm
sent?
sorry. Sorry, Alexandra, I couldn't hear you.
Is this the last one you sent?
Yes, the last photo.
is it,
So the window is a bathroom window. As you'll see in a second, over half the window area is a curtain-covered shower. This window is also at shoulder height for anyone inside. And then I took an opposite view to show the view from said window. Oh, that one right there. So as you can see, this window looks onto in my adjoining rooftop and the full side wall of the opposite building, including 3 apartment windows. So what this shows is that there truly isn't a aesthetic being removed from this bathroom if the window is replaced by a skylight, again, which I offered to install at my expense. Anyone choosing to utilize the shower with the blinds open to take advantage of this view would be exposed not only to anyone on my roof performing maintenance, etc., but would also be exposed to the tenants of the Perry-owned building. Another issue risen by the walkers was the rentability of their adjoining unit if the bar were to expand.
Mr. Joyce,
I did.
Mr.
I'm
Joyce,
sorry?
hold on just a minute. So this is from that window facing the building to the right of yours. How do you mean, how would the skylight be used? Skylights to me are things that are on the roof.
Correct. So the Alexandra, could you go back to the final picture I had sent you? The window in question is on a small section of their wall that is facing my roof. If the
Right.
bar were to expand vertically, that window would be eliminated.
Right,
So,
okay.
So the proposition is just to install a skylight. You could see a little bit of the sky right there, but skylight.
So immediately above this bathroom is a
Correct.
roof that would accommodate the installation of a skylight.
Correct. That is as large as they wanted. It could be the size of the whole entire bathroom if that's what they were inclined to want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like I said, they did bring up rentability of their adjoining unit. So I did provide a picture of the Coram Avenue facing exterior of the building. This building has holes in the stucco. Birds live in it. It has rotting wood above the door, various cosmetic defects that would presumably affect rentability of this unit, in my opinion. And I offered to repair that exterior, including but not limited to repairing the stucco, repainting, all of it. And we also, my daytime manager also had a discussion with the current tenants of the property that revealed they'd asked the property owners to repair that exterior over the last year, having lived there with no luck. But upon hearing that we offered to repair it, they considered that a no-brainer.
All right, this is a picture of the front. Did you say at the beginning there was a picture of the rear?
No, there's no purpose to show the rear. It's woods. This is just the front. It's Coram Avenue facing.
Right.
As you
But
can
there's
see,
nothing going on. We were saying about birds live in it or something.
yeah, the little holes. There's more pictures, but yeah, there's holes in the stucco.
Right, but it's not in the back, that it's only the front that you could.
Well, the back isn't my concern. The rentability of the unit, I don't think, has anything to do with the back. It's the front.
Okay. All right.
But the birds are living in the rotting wood over the door and the cracking stucco. So again, I did try to address that with the owners. They did not respond. So now I'd like to move to the other building, the Perry-owned property. Again, I offered to make put a metal roof. You could leave it right on this one, Alexandria. A metal roof over our adjoining staircase that leads not only to my current rooftop, but is an access way for their tenants. And I'm offering that rooftop because we're asking to use that staircase. Again, we already have to use it for the roof, but it would be a second avenue of egress in the event of an emergency. This picture was taken on Sunday. So it's January and it's still covered in leaves. It's their property. I don't have any obligation or right to be maintaining it, but their agreement states that I would put the roof over the stairs. I would add nighttime lights and we would maintain the roof and the stairs. This would protect it from snow, rain, leaves. It was hard for me to notice that there was no step under those leaves. I was anticipating it. One can go down. Thankfully, I was a little nimble enough not to go down. But again, it would add a sense of security also because one of the property owner also brought up a fact that families may live in that building. So a roof over it, lights at nighttime. Right now, it's just a dark staircase. So additionally, this building has been situated between two bars for over 30 years. Now, the implied understanding of any tenant that's moving in here is that they're going to live in harmony with these businesses if they do choose to live there. Okay, so promise I'm almost done. To address some of the concerns risen by this committee, I'd first like to speak on the idea that we don't serve food. Double J's is equipped with all required food licensure from the Naugatuck Valley Health Department. Since opening in September 2023, we've served frozen pizza and chicken bites on site, prepared on site. And we also allow outside food and drink. which is exercised frequently, not only by me and my father for parties and gatherings. We go to Kickstart Cafe, we go to Porky's and bring trays of food. It's also exercised by patrons who get Uber Eats or also bring food from those same establishments and others. That said, I can't mandate that people consume food while they consume alcohol. Even a full-fledged restaurant can't mandate that. So the best defense my business has, any business has, is to avoid overconsumption or over-serving and be vigilant in the detecting of those signals, which we are. We have been, and we strive to do that every day. And it's also worth noting, as I did last meeting, that I and the management team have made a concerted effort to eradicate nefarious and negative behavior from taking place inside or directly outside the establishment. Any behavior previously conducted before our tenure as owners has nothing to do with me as far as I'm concerned. And affirmation from the Shelton Police Department has been offered unsolicited several times, noting the lack of issues that arises from us. So to close, I hope this committee appreciates the steps that I took to negotiate in good faith with my neighbors, notably offering to make concessions for both properties at my expense. The lack of reciprocation on their part, in my opinion, shows a disinterest in the progress of the downtown area, which is growing in population and should afford businesses the opportunity to accommodate such growth via expansion where permitted. So to reiterate, the expansion plan for this bar is not to be 24/7 two-story bar. The intention is to be similar to Porky's, an additional floor to accommodate larger evenings like the Super Bowl or the Final Four or the night before Thanksgiving, and private events like bridal showers or birthday parties. Since purchasing the building, we've created a revamped atmosphere inside a neighborhood sports bar, cleaned up the bad behavior, repainted the exterior, and have partnered with other restaurants to hopefully make downtown Shelton and mostly Double J's a place people want to spend time. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr. Joyce. Do any commissioners have any comments or questions for the applicant?
I have a question. So,
Commissioner Moto? Okay.
yeah, sorry. Let's say we approve your expansion. Would you still go ahead and make these improvements that you have offered, even though these neighbors haven't responded?
Yeah, I'd absolutely be willing to do that within reason. Again, I'm expecting to meet with them and, hash out such details. I offered a lot, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I'd like to at least have the goodwill of meeting, negotiating, and understanding exactly what they want so that we can do that fairly. Again, I want to reiterate, I went out of my way to try to be fair. So I would expect the same courtesy.
And how long ago did they receive these letters from you?
They were sent on the 23rd of December, and the receipts that I sent, you have screenshots of them. One was delivered on December 27th. Obviously, it couldn't be on the holiday. The 27th, and I believe the other one says the 30th.
Okay.
But again, these are sent priority. Sorry, there's a volume issue.
Okay.
These were sent priority mail. So my expectation was as quick a turnaround after the holiday as possible. Any reason that it went longer was a post office thing.
So there were two emails dated November 11th. Those were sent previously, and your subsequent correspondence was what you just referred to as being sent in December.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. So last meeting, we had talked about how we reached out and we had failed to include those emails. So I wanted to give the committee the background
Yeah.
because, it wasn't implied, but I didn't want it to be hearsay. We reached out before the first meeting where this committee recommended a public hearing. So I just wanted that to be clear.
Mhm.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Cristiano, go ahead.
So, Mr. Joyce, I had a question for you. In reviewing the documents, there was a letter in there from the fire marshal, and if I recall, the second floor egress comes from inside the building, not from outside of the building. And that limits the capacity of your establishment to 46 people, not increasing the overall capacity to 88. The increased capacity to 88 only occurs if there's external egress, right? So external egress only comes if you make an arrangement with the neighbor, correct?
But the fire marshal
Correct, so-
letter that I have right in front of me says the
I'm
occupancy can increase to 88 people standing only if an additional exit from the second floor is installed remote from the other, which would require the exit to be in front of the building.
right. Mr. Cristiano,
Mhm.
so the understanding is, yes, we do need a second avenue of egress on the second floor. Believe the implication in this letter after we spoke with the fire marshal is that if that is the only egress that we have that spills out onto the grass behind our building,
Mhm.
if that's the only egress on the second floor, then the second floor can maintain 46 people. It can't hold 88. Downstairs, that's a separate arrangement.
Okay.
Right. Thank
Any,
you.
is that, okay, Commissioner Cristiano, any other commissioners? Okay, if there aren't any, further questions of the applicant, we'll move to the public portion. Just a reminder that the only items that the public can comment on are the new items, which are the copies of the emails and the proposals to the owners of the two budding properties and 8 photos. And I also want to caution if there's anybody in the waiting room who is an abutting property owner, while you can make public comment, this is not any comments that and negotiation that you want to do with the applicant should have been done and should be done in private. Okay, this is just to discuss the merits of the application. So if there's any elected official in the city of Shelton that would that's participating remotely that would like to comment on this application, please use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 on your phone to be recognized. Ms. Castro, is there anyone?
No.
Okay, if there is any member of the public who is participating remotely that would like to comment on this application, please Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 on your phone.
I am adding in Mr. and Mrs. Walker.
Okay. All right, so which person would like to speak up if just identify yourself for the record?
Hi, yes, this is Marisha Walker of 69 Indian Well Road in Shelton.
Mhm.
And the items I'd like to comment on are that, we have not reached back out to Mr. Joyce and Mr. Brule because there aren't any proposals that we are interested in moving forward with. We don't want to give up our window on our second floor. Our purpose of that window is not for aesthetic view out. It is more.
Which was never said. We never said anything.
It's for natural light. It's for cross breeze. It's for ventilation. It is not so that someone could stand up in the shower and look out the window to have that.
Time out. We can only have one person speaking at a time because if a transcript has to be prepared of this particular meeting, the stenographer will not know who's speaking. So, Mr. Walker, if you want to make comment, you'll have to do so afterwards, okay?
Fair enough.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mrs. Walker.
Sure. So, we're just not interested in removing that window. We're not interested in putting in a skylight above the window. And there was a comment made in that last meeting by Mr. Brulette stating that they can just cover the window and it doesn't matter what we might not like it, but it doesn't matter. And my question is, how is that even acceptable or is it even legal to do that? Can you just cover someone's window? And then regarding the future rentability of our property, and comments there, we know it is not the most attractive outside exterior of the front of our building, and we are working on plans for improvement of our own. The building has always been rented. We have not had a problem with that despite the front facade, because the inside is beautiful. It's a hidden gem is what we've always called it. So that's really not a subject of issue for us. It's a issue of having an active, bar socialization area directly next to the living space of our building, where people and tenants of ours will actually have living quarters, whether it's, a bedroom, etc., directly next door, solely separated by one wall, especially for an area that's going to be a balcony or a patio where they can be actively, smoking cigarettes and just, having a good time, etc. Like, that noise is not going to be able to be canceled with an outside area directly outside of, living space with 6 windows in the front there. Like, there's nothing to, that would not be attractive to tenants of, for the future for us, because they're not going to have any peace and quiet on evenings where there are events, or times when they're renting it out, or if they're just utilizing the whole bar to, expand just day-to-day usability. Because even though they're saying it's only going to be for events right now, doesn't mean that they're not going to just have it open all the time in the future. So that's why we thought about the rentability. No one's going to want to actually sleep right next door, separated by one wall to that kind of a noise level.
Okay, Mr. Walker, did you have some comments?
Basically just, to touch on what my wife said a little bit here at Merch. I appreciate what they're offering. We're not, we're not simply just ignoring them. We've had some unfortunate family events that have taken place recently. Unfortunately, one of my brothers committed suicide recently, and that was out of state. I know it's irrelevant, but there are reasons why we were not rushing to get back to them. And, I know they're full speed ahead here and just trying to get a response from everybody. But it was also brought up in the last meeting too, that it's also not our obligation to get back to them, and that we can communicate with them through the commission here, which is what we did during the last meeting. And I guess what we're doing right now. I would like clarification on what I believe it was Mr. Burlett said during the last meeting. And I quote, we can cover up that window. He may not like it, but we can still do it. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that physically, like, yes, they can build a wall there. Anybody could build a wall there, sure. But is the commission would the commission allow that? I don't understand where that was coming from. So I would like further clarification on that. And that's certainly not a comment that you want to make if you're trying to make friends with your neighbors to get done what you want to get done. And we're not, not in favor of this just out of spite. There are legitimate concerns here. Just to, again, touch on what my wife said, the future rentability, which was also brought up during the last meeting, the noise issue, the cigarette smoke. Can my tenants open their windows on a nice, summer evening if they want to get some fresh air in there and not have to deal with the cigarette smoke coming in from a second floor, terrace or balcony or what have you? The noise, which my wife just brought up too. Yeah, they can put, sound barrier between the two, but that's not going to eliminate all of the sound, and certainly not going to eliminate any of the sound coming from outside on that balcony. It was never, we never said that window is for an aesthetic view. You can go back and read the minutes or watch the video if it's still available. Those words never came out of our mouths. That's a utilitarian window. It's there for ventilation. It's there for natural light and so on. Skylights, they always end up leaking eventually. And if it's a fixed skylight, well, then there goes the ability to vent that bathroom by simply opening up that window there. We don't want to lose that window. And I don't think that we should have to. Because they want to expand. And again, I appreciate the fact that they're looking to improve their business, but it shouldn't be done at our expense. It shouldn't be done at my tenant's expense. We're we've been there since, we've owned that building since 2010. And like I said, during the last meeting, when we bought it, we knew what we were buying. We were buying a 2-story building next to a single-story bar, not next door to a 3-story bar. So, if that was his intentions all along, that could have been addressed prior to them actually closing on that purchase. But apparently it wasn't, a big concern when they initially bought the building, or maybe it wasn't even a thought in their mind. I don't know. I guess that's neither here nor there right now, but it's there's just too many, there's not enough compensation, by fixing up the front of my building or installing a skylight doesn't change the fact that it's going to create issues for future tenants, the future value, the future rentability. How do you compensate for something like that? Not with a skylight or a facelift, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know what else to say here. I mean, we did have a conversation with the owners on the other side, the Perry family as well. And I think they may be here. I don't know if they're going to speak or not. And I don't really want to speak on their behalf, but I'll tell you, part of our conversation was their concern with.
Let them.
Okay, yeah, I'll leave that
Okay.
alone. I'll leave that up to them.
Okay.
But you pretty much know all of our concerns at this moment. So I don't think that this thing should just be forced down our throats, and we should have to give up that window, because we bought what we bought when we bought it, and so did they. So I don't see how it would be fair to force these changes upon somebody who's unwilling to accept them, not out of spite, but for legitimate reasons moving forward. So I don't know what else to say.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to address this? Ms. Castro?
You're on mute, Ms. Castro.
Thank you. First person moved up was listed as Chris.
Okay, if there is a Chris that'd like to address the commission, please identify yourself with your full name and address, please.
Hi, I'm Chris McClanahan. I live at 801 Long Hill Avenue, Shelton.
Okay, Chris, do me a favor and please spell your last name for the benefit.
Sure, it is M-C, capital C, L-A-N-A-H-A-N.
Okay, got it. All right, go ahead, sir.
So I'm Chris McClanahan. I've been living in Shelton for about 18, almost 19 years now. I've lived downtown in Shelton for about 14 of those years. And I have worked in downtown Shelton for 16 going on 17 of those years. I am right now the current manager of Double J's. I also work at Kickstart Cafe downtown. I've worked at another place, Calaroso, which is at 100 Center Street. I used to live above it for about 4 years. I lived on at 418 Howe Avenue, which is right downtown. And I also lived at 94 Hill Street, which is right next to City Hall. And I lived right next to the ice cream shop on Bridgeport Avenue, in between the gas station. So I've always been, for 14 years, I've lived basically downtown in Shelton.
You tend to move around a lot.
Yes. But I like where I am now. Long Hill's very nice, so I hope to stay there for a bit.
Okay.
My mom was a pastor at the United Methodist Church for a couple years. Diane McClanahan. That's how when I got out of college, I moved home with her, and that's how I first discovered Shelton. And I really fell in love with the town. I've been living here ever since. A little background on me. Since I've been working downtown, I worked at Anna's Place for about 15 years, bartender, but I was there every day. I know tenants on both sides. I've known them for over a decade now, the tenants that come and go. I know the parking lot. I know the other businesses, the other bar owners, the shop owners. I know a lot of people downtown. I spent a lot of time there, and I really got a good feel with everybody. One of the things that I know is one of the tenants in the Walker building. I knew Heather and Brooke beforehand, and I know the one of the gentlemen living there now with his dog Bubba. Very, very nice people. Never really ever heard anything bad about living next to a bar or noise issue or anything like that. Have heard about the birds living in the building and keeping people up. I did hear that from the current tenant. But besides that, I've never heard really anything. Smoking was never an issue. I was brought from any of the tenants on either side. I know some of the tenants in the Six family actually do smoke themselves, and I've actually seen them smoking on their porch, if not inside their business as well. But all I can say about Double J's is I know that when it was Anna's place in the past, that there were some incidents, and since I've been working, since it switched over to Double J's and they've taken ownership of it, it's been a complete change in customer base, in just what they're striving to make it just a great fun hangout that I really enjoy going to, and the crowd has switched from this this cigarette smoking crowd that everyone keeps talking about to barely no one smokes anymore. And it's just, I don't know, it's a sports bar with people we can go and watch any of the games, and big UConn crew. It's just really turned into, I don't know, it's just really taken some steps up, and I've really enjoyed being a part of it, seeing the change, seeing just how it's helping downtown, the other businesses and all of that. And just from being there for so long and talking with the tenants on both sides, I mean, I don't hear any issues from them on these topics. I haven't heard anything about us being loud or obnoxious. We look out for each other. I move the garbage cans for both sides with them on the 6th story. There's a man named Bruce. Him and I do it all the time. I would sweep the leaves in front of them. I would salt and I would shovel in front of both buildings. Because there's so many people living there, and it just didn't really feel like it was getting taken care of that well. So I tended to every day take care of it. Just move the garbage cans out of the street when they get knocked over, or when it's garbage night, try to tell the tenants to move their cars so the garbage gets picked up. Those stairs that you saw, I used to sweep those and get those all nice. The hand railing on those stairs that you saw comes right out. You can't use the hand railing to try to go up and down those stairs. It comes right off, and someone would trip and fall, or they'd be all icy. So I'd salt them, just try to be the neighborly person that we can be. This bar has really been a very neighborly business that's really trying to help around everybody else. So that's about time for me, I guess. So anyway, sorry about that. Just wanted to say some things and just that I feel like it's going in a really great direction here, and we just want to be better. So thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McClanahan. Ms. Castro, is there anyone else from the public?
You're on mute, Ms. Castro.
I'm promoting Marcy Anderson.
Okay, please identify yourself for the record and your address, please.
Hi, I'm Marcy Anderson, 21 Hamilton Drive, Shelton.
Go ahead.
So I do want to say I was on that last Zoom meeting. I believe it was December 11th. And I did ask for a continuance, as I wasn't able to really take a good look at, the proposed things that they were looking to get pushed forward. And, in thinking about it, we did think about it quite a bit, and we are not in favor of the addition that they are proposing on that property for a few reasons. as we all know, the parking downtown is a little bit of a challenge. That's nothing new. With our home being a 6-family home, there's minimal space as it is for our tenants to park. We feel as if them adding on additional floors on their business with, you know, potentially increasing patrons, et cetera, that's going to cause even more of an issue. As far as the second floor goes that they want to add on, you know, I'll piggyback to what the other people were saying, the walkers were saying. The sound is a huge issue. I mean, it's going to be an open area. It's pretty obvious that, you know, that's going to be a problem for our tenants that are in that house. There's families with young children, et cetera. So that's a big concern. And, you know, I don't know if anybody's been able to take a look at the map situation, but our property extends behind Double J's. It's about 28 feet wide in that area. That is our property. And we are not looking to share that in any way, especially you know, I appreciate, you know, them trying to offer, you know, fixing up our stairs by putting, you know, a roof over the top and some lighting, but we're not interested in that. It poses a huge liability for us insurance wise. We appreciate he's trying to, you know, better bet downtown and improve his business, but not at our expense.
Is that it?
That will do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Castro, is there anyone else?
1 second. No.
Okay, final call. If there's anyone from the public or any elected officials that would like to comment on this application, please use Zoom's raise your hand feature, dial *9. Okay, hearing none, would the applicant like to respond to any of the comments?
Yes, I would. Thank you. Again, just to address a few of the comments, we are not trying to be an everyday 2-story bar. I'm again negotiating in good faith. I have no intention of, if this plan was to be approved, then turn around and turn it into an everyday thing. It's not necessarily an expense that I'd like to take on. We'd like to open it for private events, and we would like to open it for nights that are already trafficked throughout the downtown area. Like I said, Super Bowl Sunday, Final Four, night before Thanksgiving, what have you, firework nights. The parking in that sense isn't typically an issue anyway. People ride share. People do the Center Street Shuffle. They bop around from place to place. So again, I understand their concern, but I'm assuring people of my plan. Secondly, and I just wanted to also reiterate that, or rather comment on the fact that Mr. Walker mentioned he had unfortunate family circumstances, which we sympathize with, but that's the reason he didn't respond to our inquiry. But they made mention that they had time to reach out to the other neighbors. So it just doesn't really add up to me. Again, it does feel spiteful to not reach out, even if you're not interested, to say no, thank you. They exercise their right to comment in this forum, and that's fine. That's on them. But it's mischaracterizing their intention if they say they couldn't speak to us, but they did speak to the other neighbors. So again, if approved and the neighbors on one side do not want us to use the grass in the back, then we will adjust and we will find our egress in the front of the building. You know, we will adjust it. We don't want to inconvenience them any more than, you know, just getting our plan moving forward for our business, should that be the decision of this committee. Again, don't want to be unneighborly at all. So thank you for your time. Just wanted to say those things.
Okay, any further comments, questions for the applicant from the commission? Mr. Joyce, how would you
Can I just, I
hang on a
just want to throw, okay.
how would you change the exterior of the building to address having a second exit from the front of the building? Do Do you have some?
We could possibly put another door coming out the front of the building. That's, I believe, how Porky's has their second avenue of egress as well. They have a second doorway that comes out on, if you're facing Porky's on the left-hand side, it does not go into the main restaurant area.
Right,
So
that's
again,
a
it's
staircase.
just a matter
goes
of
up to
meeting with
that's a
the fire
staircase.
marshal and the architect and the
Right.
building official, of course, but the architect to draw that up.
That's a staircase that was pre-existing. That went up to the second floor to where it used to have a banquet hall. And I know that personally because I had an uncle that worked downstairs in the kitchen when it was Primo's, and my 16th birthday party was held upstairs on the second floor. So I'm very familiar with that building. What my concern is, you would be willing to make some interior and exterior kinds of renovations to allow a second staircase from the second floor, a second egress from the second floor.
Yeah, correct. We are not interested in changing the overall footprint, but we would be we would do what we had to do to accommodate the second doorway and the second stairwell.
But just remind the commission, is there an entrance? Would there be an entrance to the second floor from the inside of the current?
Yes. The drawings have plans for a stairwell to be in the back of the bar,
All right.
in the back of the existing footprint. Not in the back, like in the exterior, in the interior.
Yeah. Commissioner Motto, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wondered if you thought of any design changes, maybe not having that second floor go all the way over to the left, so you'd have some air between the two buildings, or maybe not having the outdoor patio out on the second floor. That would address the smoking concern, I think.
Last meeting, we did discuss, we offered the possibility of on the patio having I'm sorry, my camera's off. I'm talking with my hands. Adding a dividing wall. So the patio opens to the front and having walls because technically that would abate any smoke from just drifting willy-nilly. But again, this is not something to be open 24/7. This is not something to be a nuisance in terms of noise or smoke on a regular basis.
Got that. I'm, sympathetic to both sides here, so.
I totally understand.
All right, any other comments for the applicant? How does the commission
Considered
wish?
expanding with apartments instead of a bar.
Are you asking if I have?
Have you considered that?
How would that change the window situation? And technically it's still the same issues from some of the neighbors, but no, I have not. I'm focused on being singular in this business.
Okay, any other comments? All right, how would the commission like to proceed with this application? Are we going to continue or close the public hearing?
I think we might as well close the public hearing at this point.
I agree. We've heard enough.
Everyone's sure they have enough information?
Yes.
Okay, so is there a motion to close the public hearing for application 2429?
Commissioner Cristiano will make the motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Commissioner Parkins will second.
Okay, so on the motion made by Commissioner Cristiano, seconded by Commissioner Parkins, to close the public hearing for application 2429, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Kelly.
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano.
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki.
Aye.
Commissioner Motto. Commissioner Motto.
Oh, aye, sorry.
Okay, Commissioner Parkins.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Motion to close the public hearing is passed by a vote of 6-0. So this item will be on the agenda of an upcoming meeting for discussion. Thank you very much. Next, we're going to go to the opening of the public hearing for application 2430, Steve Bellis for Stephen Shapiro, a proposal to amend the Shelton Planning and Zoning Regulations by adding section 37 titled Age Restricted Residential Development. Commissioner Modica, would you read the notice of the public hearing?
Sure. Initiation of application 24-30, Stephen R. Bellis for an amendment to the Shelton Planning and Zoning Regulations to include section 37, age-restricted residential development, which should be ARRD, I think, to encourage residential homes for those 55 and over in the R1, R2, and R3 zoning districts as a special exception application.
Okay, thank you very much. This application was accepted for review on November 13th, 2024. Posted to the city's website is the application, a proposed new text change, and a map prepared by the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments showing the roadways stated in the text change and the adjacent neighborhoods that would be affected. Ms. Castro, any other reports, materials, or correspondence received for the application that need to be acknowledged for the record?
No, nothing else submitted.
Was there something submitted, a list of streets or something? I understood from Ms.
I
Pizzano.
could have been sent
There was a map.
access to the email. So I did discuss that she was sending something to me, but I don't have access to open my email right now.
Okay, yeah, that was definitely sent. It's where'd it go?
Wasn't there a map submitted?
Yeah,
was
that's
a-
what I mentioned, the NV
That's
cog map.
posted online.
Yeah, that one we acknowledged.
All right.
That's okay.
I didn't see anything else but that map.
No, that's the thing. This was from staff
Okay.
member to staff member. So, all right, we can deal with that later. So, is the applicant present?
I am going to request that this be continued. I have a hearing at 7:30 in Trumbull. I had asked staff if I could have this matter heard at 6 o'clock, but the other public hearing went a little longer than I expected. I have about 10 minutes, but I didn't want to open and start something without, and then just cut it off. So
Okay, understood. I'm sorry to, that message didn't get to us. Okay, so, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for application 2430?
Commissioner Ticky will motion for approval.
No,
Mayor Kelly will second.
Continuation.
it's
Oh,
not
to-
a program
I'm sorry, motion for that.
to continue. Okay,
Yes.
all right. So, Commissioner Tickey's made the motion to continue. Is there a second?
Commissioner Kelly will second it.
Okay. On the motion to continue made by Commissioner Tickey, seconded by Commissioner Kelly, do a roll call vote. Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Tickey,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Motion to continue is passed by a vote of 6-0. So this will, a particular application will appear on the agenda of upcoming meeting.
I
Thank
appreciate
you,
that. Yeah,
uh,
thank you very much, everyone.
You're very welcome, Attorney Bellis.
I can't be at two places at once, and I do apologize.
No, that's all right.
I thought I could get it done, but I wasn't able to start.
Okay.
If I can just ask that you send over an extension letter because this was the cutoff to open the public hearing.
Oh, I thought we opened it and just continued it. I apologize. But I'll send a
We
letter.
did open it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been continued.
Okay.
If you
We're
need a
good.
letter, I don't mind sending it.
Just
But I
check
think it
with,
was open, it just
staff
was
tomorrow.
continuing it.
Yeah. Why don't you just check with staff tomorrow? Okay.
Thank you
so,
all.
Good night.
See you later.
All right,
All
bye-bye.
right, so moving on to old business, application 24.
Madam Chair, if I
Yes.
can just, the application for Double J's is a site plan application. It has a line of 65 days.
Mhm.
We added in a public hearing. A public hearing is not required, but it doesn't change the timeline, so the cutoff date would be by Friday. So there was a decision would need to be made today.
Okay.
Unless I can see if the applicant is still online and they're willing, the applicant is still online, I can ask for, if we can,
Extension.
Extension,
so I'm gonna promote him back to a panelist.
okay,
Perhaps we can make a decision tonight.
perhaps we could, but let's see,
I apologize, I was multitasking getting into the next
Yep.
project when you made your,
Okay.
mhm.
But we need to
Good,
know.
good evening. I'm back.
Okay, Mr. Joyce, the staff has brought to our attention the action on this, as it's a special exception, would have to be by Friday. So we are asking if you would be willing to extend the time frame.
Or we could make a decision tonight, I guess, right?
Well, let's hear what he has to say.
Okay, yeah.
If there was to be a vote tonight, wouldn't hate that, but I understand there has to be a motion for it. How long would this extension be for if there isn't a vote tonight?
Usually with like 30 days. And it gives us the ability to then schedule it. We have another meeting on the 22nd, then we jump to February. So it's up to you yet to say yes or no. What's our schedule like for next Wednesday night, Ms. Castro? I don't have something in front of me.
we have a final site development plan and a public hearing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no minutes necessarily, no applications for certificate of zoning compliance, new signs, in-laws, that kind of stuff.
COC applications I have for the first meeting of the month. We have public hearing for application 2420 and final site development plans for 2435.
Right, but that's beginning of the month, you said?
No, this is for next week.
Oh, there is.
COC applications are for the first meeting of the month.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Nothing else. We may have minutes. I just received minutes today.
So
Right.
you just have two items on the agenda for next week.
Mhm.
Is there a
Sounds-
reason why we can't just wrap it up while it's fresh in everyone's mind tonight? It's one less.
If the
Take over.
commission would like to discuss and render a decision this evening, that certainly can happen. If there's a motion to reopen the agenda item, I will honor that.
I think we could discuss it. To
Okay.
make a motion to open it for
Reopen.
discussion.
Sure.
I
Okay, so
don't think, yeah, I don't think holding it off is gonna help the
Not gonna
applicant.
change
quickly.
probably anybody's opinion.
that's fine. All right, so there's a motion made by Commissioner Mono to reopen application 2429 for discussion. Is there a second?
Wait, are we reopening? We're not reopening the hearing.
No,
No, but
No,
we're,
so we're not reopening the application. We're just,
Gonna vote on it.
discussing.
opening it up for discussion, I guess.
no, we're just discussing it. We're not
Yeah.
opening anything up.
this is for
Okay.
discussion. Exactly. Just like if it was next week, I would,
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't want to make it seem
Item-
like we're opening a hearing again.
no. This would be just as if it was on a future agenda. I would identify the agenda item and ask the commission, say that the floor is open for discussion. Okay, so, all right, so the floor is open for discussion then. Who wants to comment?
I'll throw some things out, I guess. I'm sympathetic to all sides here, unfortunately, and that's often the case. But I don't think we can really ignore the concerns of those neighbors. And I would just, I think maybe the applicant could come up with some design changes that would address some of the issues that they have raised, like not extending the building as far to the left, for example, so that would leave room for a window. It'd be an alley, but it would still be a window. And working on the egress and maybe not having an outdoor patio, so
Mhm.
upstairs. That's
Mhm.
my thoughts.
So submit that's your suggestion, to the applicant should submit a revised design.
If it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, who else wants to comment?
Commissioner Cristiano.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I appreciate the information we received, and I appreciate the applicant's attempt to try to negotiate with the neighbors, as I mentioned on the December 11th meeting. But as we look at this there and look at other applications that come in, there's pre-existing circumstances with the two neighbors. And I don't think those pre-existing circumstances can be ignored. I do appreciate the expansion of business in the downtown area, and I think we support that with other applications. But I also appreciate that we consider downtown apartment development in the city. We approve significant apartment buildings going up. We shouldn't lose sight on the small apartments that are existing and have been in place in the downtown area for many years prior to the large developments that we've seen. And we shouldn't be forsaking those businesses for other new businesses to expand, right? And I think the applicant, when the applicant purchased the property, knew the existing building and its limitations and should have taken those into consideration, as did the two neighbors who own apartments. So I'm not in favor of this application moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay, who else?
I think I would have to agree with the comments that have been made, you know, when the owner bought it, you know, there were constraints to the property. I'm not in favor of enlarging, similar to Commissioner Cristiano's comments about enlarging a business at the sake of small apartments that are up there, which is why I asked the question if the applicant had considered apartments, knowing he wants to expand his business. I don't know, maybe some more additional thought should have been into that possibility prior to him purchasing the property.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, the building does have some limitations. I love to see the expansion of business in the downtown, but I agree with Commissioner Maddow if something could be reworked or rethought of. But I mean, naturally, there are some limitations to, I think, what can be accommodated for that building and how it's currently set up and how people have come to exist around it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Commissioner Kelly, you have anything that you want to say?
No, not really. I understand the people around it, but I really don't understand why they haven't fixed their buildings. But
Mm-hmm.
neither, you know, that being said, I think there's some limitations. I think if he worked around new drawings or something, probably both sides could end up in a happy ending.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I agree with, especially with what Commissioner Kelly just said. What I am a little taken aback is that there was no communication after the proposals went to the butters, and I think out of courtesy to the applicant, he deserved at least something, and not just be hanging. And both sides gave the abutters had the ability this evening to express their position on this particular application, as they have the right to. I just don't want them to think that they don't need to respond to someone reaching out to them and using the commission's hearing as a way of hashing out their issues. So, but there's a couple of different ways we could go. We could just do, and seeing that the consensus doesn't seem to be that the existing application is one that we would really find to be something that would be desirable. There we could do outright denial or denial without prejudice, which permits the applicant to come back in with revised plans. Any comments or confirming on that, Ms. Castro?
I would just suggest if he were, let's not leave this open for him thinking that he can come back and just make it a smaller upstairs. I think at least my impression would be that did not include an outdoor patio. I think that would be one of the main considerations if they were to come back in with revised plans. I think the patio is creating much of the consternation of the neighbors.
And open patio, especially.
My opinion is we should just move for a denial. I think we're leaps and bounds, from what was proposed and what may be acceptable in the end here. We're not talking about some minor changes, that are gonna be worked out here, as we have with other projects. So,
Mhm.
you know, if the applicant wants to rework a design, ultimately, I think the applicant and the neighbors are gonna have to come to some understanding. I think that's a lot of work. And, I think at this point, just a straight denial is best.
Mhm. Okay,
I just want to echo, I agree with Commissioner Kelly. I do give this applicant, credit for thinking about making enhancements to his building and hope that in this discussion and as we're listening to the neighbors, that building owners do think about, what their building currently looks like and what are improvements that they can make within their own control. And I think that was a important point that Commissioner Kelly made. Because when you beautify your building or enhance your building, it does help the whole block and it helps other nearby business owners as we're looking for, a great downtown and understand there's limitations to everything. But I think that's an important point just to keep in mind as we have this discussion.
Mhm.
I'm not clear on the straight out denial versus the denial without prejudice. But I do think, as Commissioner Kelly said, maybe there could be a happy ending with some revisions of the plan and some better negotiation with the
Mhm.
neighbors,
I would agree
which
with
is
that.
what we'd like to see. So
Mhm.
however we can move forward in that way, I think that would be
And,
best.
I don't think we need to discredit the neighbors who chose to speak at a hearing on record rather than dealing directly. Some people just don't like confrontation, so I don't think we should just assume that they were being adversarial in any way.
Well, they
I
did it
don't know. I
twice.
can't say for a fact one way or the other, but I just don't think we should make that judgment.
Well, that's true, but it was done twice, so, one has to assume, I guess.
Yeah,
Well, it hasn't helped. So,
no, it
yeah.
hasn't.
No, you're right.
And Ms. Castro, isn't a third option for the applicant just to withdraw his application?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, so that's an option. And, confirm for me too as well about the, motion to deny without prejudice permits the applicant to,
Return.
mhm. Do they have to pay, the additional fees or the fees all over again?
They would have to request from the commission a fee waiver.
Mhm.
If
Okay.
we did an outright denial and they wanted to come back, but if we do without prejudice, they can come back without fee.
With the
No, they still need our approval.
Yeah.
Either way, regardless.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Well, it seems like a distinction without a difference.
We also can't make that suggestion that the applicant withdraw. So since this is not something that needs to have a resolution drawn up, this is just a vote. I don't see how the applicant would have an opportunity since we're discussing this right now, unless we table the discussion.
Just a matter of that, there are options. So, just like the item that we heard after the next item, 2430, that it opened and the applicant requested, it to be tabled or then we have.
But that was as part of the process. We're ending the process right now with our discussion.
Yeah, I was referring to the next thing that we were about to start. So, all right, so, is there anyone want to make a motion?
Commissioner Christie, I'll make a motion for denial of this application. I don't have the number right here in front of me. 24,
29.
24, 29.
Okay, so there's a motion to deny application 2429 from Commissioner Cristiano. Is there a second to that motion?
Interesting. Guess nobody feels good about this.
No, it's.
Clarify for me what was said about why not a denial without prejudice. Can someone just point of information explain the difference again then?
With a motion to deny without prejudice, the applicant can come back and upon request to the commission, we could agree that he not have to pay all the fees again.
Yeah, I prefer to go that.
Yeah.
I prefer to go that way. I don't agree with the denial. I think he's trying to make enhancements. Many business owners are. I think if he could work something out, so I disagree with the denial.
I agree.
I agree
have no
too.
problem with that. If I can amend my motion to deny without prejudice,
Yeah, okay.
2429.
And
All right.
I'll second that.
All right, so Commissioner Cristiano has amended his initial motion to deny to a motion to deny without prejudice, and Commissioner Kelly has indicated he would second that. So on that new motion, Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. Okay. Now we will move on to the next agenda item, which is old business application 2433. Dominic Thomas for David Chekta at 0 Constitution Boulevard. And 0 White Bassett Street, Assessors Map 92, Lot 65 and 85, Assessors Map 78, Lot 123, and Assessors Map 93, Lot 1, for an application for a special exception to allow 23 cluster single-family homes under Schedule A, Use Line 1D, Design Residential District. The applicant has submitted a letter of withdrawal. Is there a motion to accept the letter of withdrawal?
Commissioner Cristiano, I'll make a motion to accept the letter of withdrawal.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cristiano. Is there a second?
Commissioner Parkins will second.
Okay, so the motion to accept the letter of withdrawal for application 2433 from Commissioner Cristiano, seconded by Commissioner Parkins. I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. Next on the agenda is our public portion. If there's any public official who would like to comment on an item not on the agenda, you please use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 on your phone. Ms. Castro, is there anyone indicating, any elected official indicating that they would like to address the commission?
No.
Okay. If there's any member of the public that would like to address the commission on any item not on the agenda that you're participating via Zoom, please use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 on your phone. Anyone stepping forward?
Promoted Mr. Tom Harbinson.
Okay, Mr. Harbinson, please identify for yourself for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Chairman. Tom Harbinson, 15 Soundcrest Drive. I just wanted to read an item from the State of Connecticut Freedom of Information website regarding executive sessions. An agency may close certain portions of its meeting by a vote of 2/3 of the members present and voting. This vote must be conducted at a public session. Meetings to discuss the following matters may be closed. Specific employees, unless the employee concerned requests that the discussions be open to the public. Strategy and negotiations regarding pending claims and litigation. Security matters. Real estate acquisition, if openness might increase the price, or any matter that would result in the disclosure of a public record exempted from the disclosure requirements for public records. Any business or discussion in a closed session must be limited to the above areas. So I just draw attention to the component where it says strategy and negotiations regarding pending claims and litigation. And I was not aware that there was some pending claims or litigation regarding the 3 different applications which are currently open for 390 Shelton Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harbinson. Is there anyone else from the public that has indicated they'd like to comment on any item not on the agenda?
No.
Okay. All right, then we will move on to other business, the approval of meeting minutes. And Ms. Castro, you had we had tabled the December 11th, 2024 minutes to allow you to submit a correction. And would you mind reviewing that correction, please?
Yes, it was on page 11 under item E. It listed that the motion was to accept the letter of extension, and it should be corrected to read that it was a letter of withdrawal.
Okay. All right. All right, is there anyone have any questions for Ms. Castro regarding that correction? Okay, did anyone else have any comments and corrections about the December 11th meeting minutes?
Looks okay to me.
Hearing none, is there a motion on the December 11th meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve, Commissioner Matto.
Okay, approve with the change noted by,
Yes.
okay. Okay, so there's a motion to approve with the change noted by staff from Commissioner Motto. Is there a second?
Richard Cristiano will make that motion to second the minutes from December.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes with the change. Okay,
Yes.
so on that motion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Let the record show that the vote was 6-0 with no commissioners voting nay and no commissioners abstaining. Our final agenda item is an executive session to discuss pending legal matters. Is there a motion to go into an executive session, inviting Attorney McCoy to attend the entire session and for Ms. Castro to attend only until the point where she has completed the connection and we are all elevated to participant status?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so there's
Sorry.
no Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so on the motion, Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Ticky,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Harger, and votes aye. So the motion is passed by a vote of 6-0 to go into executive session. So we will be all disconnecting and we will be back.
Okay.
Okay, I believe we are all back.
Where's Ginny?
Loading.
Okay.
Here I am.
Here she is.
Okay, it is 7:50 PM and we have, the commission has come out of our executive session. Is there a motion to come out of our executive session with a notation that no votes were taken and no applications were discussed? The only discussion had to do with process and procedures related to FOI information that was received during the public portion.
Commissioner Cristiano will make that motion as you indicated, Chairman.
Okay, and is there a second?
I'll
Commissioner
second.
Park,
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Ruth.
Go ahead.
All right.
I got
I'll
Commissioner Motto
second.
down already. All right, so on the motion to made by Commissioner Cristiano and seconded by Commissioner Motto, do a roll call. Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. So it is now 7:51 PM, and seeing that there is no other items on the agenda, the chair is declaring this evening's meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and good night. We'll see you next
Good night,
Wednesday.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.